everyone, welcome back to another lesson. Today's learning goal is I can factor trinomials in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, including perfect square trinomials. So we're going to start off today with just doing x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so we're not going to have a leading coefficient besides 1 for today. And we're talking about what happens next time when we add in a leading coefficient besides 1. So the first thing is to check to see if there can be a GCF that can be factored out of the trinomial. Okay. Next, find two factors with a product of C and a sum of B, and then write the two values of write these two values to factor your binomial. So here we have a B value of 5 and a C value of 6. So we need to find two numbers that multiply to C, to 6, and add up to 5. Well, obviously that the factors of 6 are 2 and 3, and 1 and 6, and 2 and 3 add up to 5. So we're going to have x plus 2, x plus 3. And if we check that, we can use the FOIL method. So that's x squared, and then x plus 3, or 3x, and then 2x, and then plus 6 from the last part. So that's x squared plus 5x plus 6, which means that we did it correctly. Okay. So again, remember that factoring these trinomials means we're finding two binomials that multiply together to get this trinomial, which is what we did right here. We showed that this turns into that, which turns into the original expression right here. So here we need to find two numbers that multiply 20 and add to 9. Well, here we have x plus 4 and x plus 5, because those two numbers add up to 9 and multiply to 20. And check it using FOIL. We got x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 20, which gets us our original expression, x squared plus 9x plus 20. Here we have a negative c. So now we need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add up to 4. Well, we can see that it has to be, one has to be positive and one has to be negative, because that's the only way you can multiply to a negative number. So here we have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add up to 4, and the number that has the higher value has to be the positive number, because we end up adding them together, getting a positive number. So here we're going to have x plus 6 minus 2, because negative 2 plus 6 is 4, and negative 2 times 6 gets us negative 12. So let's check that. X squared plus 6x minus 2x minus 12, and then that should get us x squared plus 4x minus 12. Oh, excuse me, this all should be t. All of this should be t. There we go. T. So here we have two numbers that multiply to 10 and then add up to negative 7. So in order for us to have a add up to a negative number and multiply to a positive number, both of these numbers have to be negative. So here we're going to have two negative numbers, so that's going to be c minus a number and c minus a number. Well, that's going to be c minus 2 and minus 5. If we FOIL it, we get c squared minus 5c minus 2c plus 10, which is c squared minus 7c plus 10. It says, which trinomials have a positive c value, and how does this affect the signs in the binomial factors? Well, we talked about that. When you have a positive c value, or a positive constant, both numbers that we factor we're going to have in our binomials have to be the same sign. They have to be either positive times a positive to get a positive, or negative times a negative, because a negative times a negative gets a positive. Which trinomials had a negative c value? Well, number 3 had a negative c value, which means that one had to be positive and one had to be negative inside our binomials. At times, there are no factors of c with a sum of b. In this case, the polynomial cannot be factored, and it is called a prime trinomial. So just like how 7, the number 7 can't be factored into anything else besides 1 in itself, and we call that a prime number, there are specific polynomials that we can't not factor into two binomials. We call those prime trinomials. So go ahead and try to figure out which one of these is not factorable, and factor the ones that you can. You should have found that number 7 is not factorable. It is prime because there's no factors of 1 that with a sum of negative 5. And then number 6 should have factored into m minus 2 and m minus 7, while number 8 should have factored into b plus 5 and b minus 6.